Who doesn't love donuts? Although I'm cooling on donuts a little bit, but never Munchkins from Dunkin' Donuts. Ooh, the little jelly. Oh, Madon. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Rounds of the Knight's Table. I'm Jim, and it's Weeping Wednesdays, so you know we're going to talk about This Is Us. And this episode starts with them at the hospital after she went into fucking labor. 28 weeks in. It's 4 a.m, and Beth gets a call, and Randall's like, who'd be calling you at 4? And she's like, it's 7 Eastern, Randall. We live on the East Coast, bitch. And the tension with these two is thick with 2 C's. Everyone's sitting in the waiting room. You got Miguel, you've got Becca, you've got Kevin, you've got Zoe, Randall, Beth. And Kevin is cranky, hungover as fuck. And that's when Becca starts to go on like some weird trip, and she's like, have you ever noticed the outlets look like surprised faces? I mean, she's not wrong. Did she take an edible before she went to the hospital? And the doctor comes out, giving them the typical spiel. Kevin's like, listen, money is no object here. So if you feel like you can't do it, I will take her to a doctor that can. Just being a real prick. That's when Kevin decides to declare that he's hungover to everyone. They all know he's drinking again now. And that's when Zoe starts to uncover some more of his lies. Like, oh, you weren't on audition last week. That's when Kate's friend Madison shows up with a box full of donuts. Who doesn't fucking love donuts? And a bunch of positive energy for a negative fucking room. That's when Randall and Beth decide it's best to fight in front of everybody. Let's air our dirty laundry. What the fuck? You know, the usual power couple. Not so much anymore. Fallen on hard times. And that's when Kevin's rude to Madison. He tells her, he's like, I'm sorry, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, maybe I should go. So she leaves. Kevin realizes that he's being rude, and so he's like, I'm going to take a walk. So then Randall's like, should we talk about his relapse? And Miguel's like, one thing at a time. Did Miguel just use the father voice on me? The dad voice on me? That's when some stranger walks in. She's eating her bag of chips loudly. She's really breaking up the monotony of the situation. And Beth is like, I'm going to drop kick her. I'm going to drop kick her ass. Becca makes some more weird observations. She's totally out of it. She's like lightheaded. Beth is like, listen, I'll airplane feed you a donut. Miguel got up and walked away, and he runs into Madison out in the hallway, and she's like, listen, part of Kate's plan was for me to be here for the whole thing. And, she also had a plan to have her Ruth Bader Ginsburg doll there because she wants all these strong influences on their sons. So Miguel tells her, if you really want to help Kate, you'll find a way. It's hard fitting into the Pearson family. I don't even get a seat at the table. And he, has a little moment of levity, but I'm cooling on Miguel. That's when Kevin returns. Zoe breaks their tension by telling him, hey, do you want to get out of here? I can get a reservation at this restaurant called Vending Machine. That's when Kevin tells her he's good now. He's good. He's not going to drink anymore. He's got it under control. So when she goes to the vending machine, Beth is around and they're talking about Kevin. She's like, I wouldn't judge you if you left. And Zoe asks her straight up, well, would you judge me if I stayed? Beth is like, never. Wants to flee, usually, and she's staying. She's in it. She's in. That's when Randall thinks that he's got it all figured out. He's like, hey. So she can continue her class, because that's their fallout, is that she wants to teach dance, and he's like, hey, I'm city council now. You got to be home. And she doesn't want to. I don't blame her. She wants to live her dreams. Live that dream, girl. Mom and Miguel, you guys always talk about spending more time with the kids. Merry Christmas. And they're like, well, actually, we've been thinking about moving out to California. And they're like, what the fuck? I mean, obviously not, because it's NBC. And that's when Kevin's talking about he's Googled all the negatives about what could happen with the kid, what could, because it was born so early. And that's when Zoe takes a drink of his water. And Kevin starts yelling at the nurse or the lady at the front. He's like, can you, just tell me more about my sister? So Randall's like, oh, I'll take a shot. And he's like, oh, of course, because you're more trustworthy. So they're going back and forth. The tension thick between them. Fly. And I got him. I got his ass. Done. I'm already sprung ahead. You're on fall time. He was going right for my coffee, too. So they're sparring back and forth. And then Miguel starts complaining, I never get a seat at the table. Bro, did you earn it? You just slid in on your best friend's girl after he died. Maybe not right after, but you don't do that. So Rebecca yells at him to stop, and then she starts reminiscing about the waiting room where she was when Jack died. I can remember all those little details. None of it matters. The only thing that matters here is Kate and my grandson. So put that shit away, is what Rebecca Pearson said. And that's when Toby comes out, and it goes to commercial somewhere. Oh my God, don't do this to me. They put him in a machine, and he's just going on and on about the kid, and they're like, well, how's Kate? He's like, oh, she's amazing. Miguel, she asked to see you. And he's like, really? He's like, no, just a poor attempt at humor. Randall tells them that it's a good idea that they're moving. And that's when Kevin tells Zoe, I can't do this without you. That's when Beth comes up to Zoe right after that and tells her, I'm very proud of you. It's hard to change your ways, and I know that you always want to flee. And she's like, well, I took a drink out of Kevin's water bottle, and it was filled with vodka. You got a problem, bro. If you have a problem, go see somebody. Go get help, please. That's when we see Kate and Toby in the NICU. And he's just amazed to be like looking at his child. It's so small and it looks so helpless. She tells him, I want to name him Jack, if that's okay. And he's like, yeah. And that's when Kate prays to Jack, her father, that she needs him to make it okay. And I know that you can, no matter where you are. And I'm wondering, who the fuck is cutting the onions? She holds up the Ruth Bader Ginsburg doll. Madison came through. They had such a rough relationship to start. They showed next week's preview. Toby being very, very touchy about, the doctors and nurses wanting to take a blood sample from the kid. Can we just have a minute? And it shows Kevin outside of Sophie's house. Things about to get hot and heavy in that bitch. I thought it was a really good episode. This one I thought really picked it back up and it had such a good This Is Us feel. I'm thinking something bad's going to happen with Kevin. I think Kevin's going to end up dying in the future. I'd like to know what you guys thought of last night's episode. If you watched it, where you think it's going, what's going to be the ultimate cause of Randall and Beth's downfall? Is Kevin ever going to be okay? How is Toby going to adjust to having a premature baby if he does? If you like this video, hit those likes. You already know what fucking time it is. Press that subscribe, and we will check you out tomorrow. The Challenge, Trashy TV Thursday, only on Rounds of the Night's Table.